So, even more leaks about Linnea and upcoming 6.5 content have surfaced, and this one is actually pretty spicy, because we now have more concrete info on what Linnea is supposed to do, plus a leaked weapon that looks almost made for her. And on top of that, there are also fresh map leaks going around, which we will get into in a bit. So in this video, we are going over everything that got leaked in simple words, especially the new Linnea kit details, what her weapon could mean, and why all of this matters if you are already planning your pulls and primo gem saving for the next patches. Before we start, quick reminder as always, leaks are just leaks. Some of this can change, some translations can be weird, and some details can be missing context. So take it as a roadmap, not as final official info. Let us start with Linnea because that is the most important part here. From the new leaks, Linnea is looking more and more like the dedicated lunar crystallized support a lot of people expected, and that is a huge deal if you are playing Geo teams or if you are already looking at future lunar crystallized comps. The big thing is that this does not sound like a random support that just throws one buff and leaves. The leaks make it sound like she does multiple jobs at once, which is always what makes a support really valuable long-term. At Constellation 0, the leaked summary says she gives a base damage bonus, around 30 resistance shred, around 100 elemental mastery buff, off-field damage, and even healing. That is a stacked list. That kind of package is exactly why people are getting excited, because it means she can save team slots. Instead of needing one character for healing and another for buffs, she might cover a lot of that by herself. And current meta Zibai teams really lack healing, so Linnea would really fill that gap nicely. There is also an important detail in the leak that keeps expectations grounded, and I actually like that. It says her off-field damage is lower than Anefa's. That makes sense. If she is bringing resistance shred, elemental mastery, healing, and reaction support, then her personal damage being lower is a fair trade. Not every support needs to hit like a main damage dealer. Sometimes the strongest unit on a team is the one that makes everybody else hit harder, and Linnea sounds exactly like that kind of character. Now the skill behavior also got more interesting. The leak says her tap skill can deal off-field lunar crystallized damage every 2 seconds. That already sounds really solid for consistent reaction setups, because steady off-field application is what makes rotations feel smooth. But then there is another detail saying if you tap the skill multiple times, it front-loads damage, stays on field for around 3 seconds, and then it cannot deal lunar crystallized damage during the downtime. So it sounds like Linnea may have 2 ways to use her skill depending on what you want. In simple words, one version sounds like the safer support mode where she keeps helping from off-field over time, and the other sounds more like a burst of damage up front, but with a trade-off after that. That is actually a really nice design if it is true, because it gives you a choice. I really like leaks like this because even before full numbers, you can already tell the character might have real gameplay decisions and not just one button every time. Now let us talk about the weapon leak, because this is where it gets even more obvious what direction they are pushing. The leaked bow is called Frostbound Oath, and the stats shown are 542 base attack and 88.2% crit damage. That crit damage substat is already very strong on paper, but the passive is the real story here. It gives 16% defense, and then when the character's skill or a lunar crystallized attack hits an enemy, they gain an effect for 6 seconds that boosts geo damage and lunar crystallized reaction damage by 40%. Then there is another part where if a moon cage is nearby teammates get another effect that increases geo damage and lunar crystallized reaction damage by 20%. That is a very direct weapon. This is not one of those vague, good on many units bows. This thing screams Linnea's support weapon. It buffs defense, it cares about skill hits and lunar crystallized hits, it boosts geo damage, it boosts lunar crystallized damage, and it even has team support built into it. If this leak is real, then the game is basically saying, yes, this character is meant to be a serious support for Zibai's lunar crystallized teams, and yes, We are giving her a signature weapon that pushes that role even harder. Now, of course, the usual warning applies. Weapon text leaks are always one of the easiest things to get changed in beta. Numbers can move, wording can get cleaned up, and some mechanics can work a little differently than the translation makes it sound. Linnea and her weapon will come in 6.5, so it is not unlikely that something changes. But even with that in mind, the direction is very clear. Linnea looks like a 6.5 Geo bow support with real lunar crystallized value, and the weapon leak is basically reinforcing that from every angle. Now let us switch to the map leaks, because this part needs a bit more sorting since people are mixing two different things together. From what the leaks are saying, 6.5 should include both Dornman Port and the space of Asmodee, but they are not being described the same way at all. And that is important. Dornman Port is the one getting most of the mixed or negative comments. One leak says the overall expansion is roughly 2 dragon pines in size, but that a huge part of it is water, and the port itself is more around Ilong Port size. So when people say the 6.5 map might feel smaller than expected, they are mostly talking about Dornman Port and that portside expansion area, not the other map. The space of Asmodee seems to be a different story. That one is being described more like an independent new map, and the reactions to it are way more positive. We got many people saying it looks incredible, while Dornman Port is the polar opposite in comparison. So the beautiful map comments and the not that impressive comments are not necessarily contradicting each other anymore if they are talking about different parts. That also explains why the leak takes looked so messy at first. Some people were judging the water-heavy Dornman Port expansion, while others were talking about the separate Asmodee area. If you mix those together, it sounds like leakers cannot agree on anything. But if you split them up, it actually makes a lot more sense. One area might be more utility-focused or smaller in dense land content, while the other is the real visual standout. And from a primo-gem planning angle, this is still very relevant. If 6.5 really gives us both a port expansion and an independent new map area, then that should still mean a solid amount of exploration rewards, quests, and achievements during LINNEA'S patch. So even with mixed reactions on Dornman Port, the overall patch can still be very good for saving and farming if Asmodee delivers. Let me know in the comments what you think about LINNEA so far. Are you excited for a Geo Bao Lunar Crystallized support, or are you waiting for more kit details before you get hyped? And on the map side, do you care more about size or more about vibe and visuals? And if more details drop, especially full Linnea kit updates or more weapon info, I will cover it right away. Good luck with your saving, and remember, leaks are just leaks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.